Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Micah Let's Play, and guess what guys? We're going to be doing a review of Streets of Rage 4. I am so excited to be doing this review. I had so much fun playing the game, but before I jump into all the juiciness that I uncovered playing this game, enjoy this intro, because I made it just for you.
Now loading Micah's Let's Play.
I know. It is epic. It is epic. It is epic. But what's more epic is this review. So, before we jump into all of this Streets of Rage 4 information, let me give you a little history on the game itself, its inception, my history with the game, and then we're going to jump into all that juicy Streets of Rage 4 goodness. So, let's get started with the timeline. Streets of Rage 1 was, oh my god, way back in 1991, and I was like, God, I was so young. I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old when the first Streets of Rage 1 came out. And when I first played it, like I said in the past, I played it with my brother Matthew. You can also check out his channel. His link will be in the video description. I played the game with him. He picked Axel. And I played as Blaze because 1, she was a girl, and 2, she was in red. So why wouldn't you want to play with a bomb-ass chick? So that was my thought process. So we began playing the game, and oh my god, we had so much fun, me and my brother Matthew. And then my brother Marcus jumped in on the action. So he played with, my brother Marcus played with Axel, I played with Blaze, and my brother Matthew played with Adam, the other male character in the first Streets of Rage game. And we had a blast. Oh my god, so many hours spent playing that game. And then, after we had our fun with it, we returned it back to Video 101 where we originally rented it from. And then Streets of Rage 2 came out some years later. And I believe that was around 92, 93 when Streets of Rage 2 came out. And oh my god, it was an even better game than the first one. Now, let's jump back a little bit further to how this game actually initially got made. This game was created, like I said, back in 1991, and it was created by the company called Sega. Sega used to be a video game console company, but it's not anymore. It's basically partnered with Nintendo. It was a long, crazy console war that ended when the company ended. How about that? But the crazy thing is that when this game initially came out, Sega was trying to compete with Nintendo at the time, and they were trying to create a game series that was specifically for Sega. And at the time, they started looking around, they went into arcades, and guess what they ran across? Final Fight. Now, when I was doing my actual Let's Play of this game, I was trying to figure out the name of the game. I was calling it Streets of Fury, Fury Street, all these other things, but it was Final Fight. And that game was created with Guy, Cody, and Poison. And since it is Pride Month, shout out to my girl Poison because she's a transgender lady. So good on her, and good on Capcom for being so progressive. But guys, when they made this game, they were trying to, again, create a game series that was specifically for Sega so they can compete with Nintendo, because at the time Nintendo had Legend of Zelda and Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, and all these other games that were out at the time. So when they had Streets of Rage, when it was initially created, of course it was called Bare Knuckles. That's the actual Japanese version of the game. But when it came to the US, it was called Streets of Rage. But it had other games like it in the past, which was like Contra, Double Dragon, and Battletoads, just to name a few. And when Streets of Rage hit the scenes, everybody loved it. Now let's go back, fast forward to Streets of Rage 2. When Streets of Rage 2 initially hit the scene, at this time, I was, like I said, I was about 8 or 9. I had made some friends with the kids in the neighborhood, and we started playing Streets of Rage 2. And oh my god, it was even better, and it was even more in line with the original Final Fight game that was in the arcade. So I was blown away, my friends were blown away, and as I said, when I was a little boy, me and my friends would go out in the streets, and we were just battling people, just because it was so much fun playing this game and just enjoying every moment of it. Then jumping forward to Streets of Rage 3, this is when the series got a little weak sauce. Again, I still enjoyed it very much so, but But basically, this is when they start introducing other characters. Dr. Zim was introduced, Sheva was introduced, you had unlockable characters, and you had Rue the kangaroo. It's so funny because I usually thought that Tekken was the first to introduce a fighting kangaroo. Guess I was wrong. It was Sega with Rue. I guess the 100 Acre Wood was not too far behind. Who knows? But now let's talk about the story of the Streets of Rage series from 1 to 3. Okay guys, so Streets of Rage 1 through 3, basically the story is Mr. X wanted to take over the city and our characters, Blaze, Axel, and Adam had to go stop him. And as they went to go stop him, they created rage in the streets and they took down Mr. X. But the cool thing about Streets of Rage 1 is that you got 3 different endings. You can either fight Mr. X, you can either join Mr. X, or if you and your partner like disagree with one another, one could say, yes, I'm gonna join you, and the other could say, no, I'm not joining you. You two could fight each other to the death, and then you can either join his crew, or you can still fight Mr. X, and then now you become the big boss. And that was an unusual way to tell a story back in those days. We didn't get multiple endings at that time, or during that era. So it was impressive to see, it was really cool, and personally I had a lot of fun doing it. But I'm gonna be honest, my Blaze was always the Blaze that say, no, I'm taking you down, I'm taking you in. But here's what happened. They thought they took Mr. X down, not that Mr. X, not that one, this Mr. X, that guy. They thought they took him down, but apparently he woke up and he was mad as hell, so he kidnapped Adam. And so this is when we got introduced to Max, the big buff wrestler, and Eddie, also known as Sammy, also known as Skate, which was my friend Cameron's favorite character. Skate was actually a pretty cool little black guy. But we were introduced to him in Streets of Rage 2, and now we have to fight Mr. X all over again and save our good friend Adam. We do, Adam is saved, the day is saved, and on to Streets of Rage 3. So now in Streets of Rage 3, it turns out Mr. X is still around, but now he's got robots replacing people. He plays, I believe, the president, the police commissioner. It was a whole bag of cats. So our team has to go back out there, but this time Adam's not around because now he's like all high in ranks and he's some kind of special agent, and Blaze is like, yo Adam, I need your help, but he's like, I'm too high up and I can't help you. So guess what she did? She reached out to his little brother, that's right, the same little brother, Skate, and they got back in the streets. Then that's when you got introduced to Dr. Zim, and he wasn't that great of a character, so not much to say about him. So moving on. Axel comes back with a yellow t-shirt this time, and we have so much fun again. And in this version, you can roll, you can run, you can do so many more things you couldn't do before. And, as I said before, you got introduced to Sheva, who was actually a boss and an unlockable character, and Rue, who was also an unlockable character. And again, back in those days, those kind of things weren't like common all the time, so it was really cool to see and fun to experience. So now that we've talked about the history of how the game was created and 1, 2, and 3, let's jump into what everyone wants to talk about, which is Streets of Rage 4. Okay, Streets of Rage 4, let's talk about it. Okay, I had so much fun playing this game. First and foremost, this game was basically a nostalgia trip for all of us who have played the past Streets of Rage 4. Now jumping into this one, oh my god, it was so much fun. Like, literally, I've been a fan of button mashers and side scrollers since the beginning of time, but being brought back into this world, it was basically, like I said, it was a reminder of how much fun those games actually were back in the day. But now let's jump into the story and the meat and potatoes. Starting with the story of Streets of Rage 4, it's basically wafer thin. It's basically the Y twins, or as I like to call them, Jamie and Cersei. They're the offspring of Mr. X. No, not that Mr. X. That Mr. X. You still with me? Okay. So the Y twins, I don't even know why their last name is Y. Was their mother Z? I'm curious. Like I said, villains with last names equal bad things. That's all I gotta say. But they basically want to corrupt everything that's good. Like literally, that's in the beginning scroll when you see the game. It's literally there. I kid you not. But anywho, so as that happens, Blaze and Axel get back in the streets and they cause the rage all up again. Then now introducing us to Floyd, the guy with the bionic arms, who is, I believe, a cyborg from Dr. Zim, which is actually pretty cool. I really liked Floyd. I loved his design. I liked watching his animation. And to me, he had the best super move in the game. Also, we're introduced to Cherry, and Cherry is the daughter of Adam. How crazy is that? There's a whole family of Adams. But anywho, let's continue. The other thing I wanted to talk about, not just with the story, because like I said, it's kind of wafer thin, but the cool thing about it, it was delivered in such a beautiful way, like a comic book. And for me, being a huge comic book lover and loving games like Streets of Rage, for me, I was just having one exciting moment and next after next after next. But on top of that, let's talk about the music. In Streets of Rage 4, we get like a nostalgic trip of the music of that game. All of the music was actually really, really good. Nothing to write home about, but the music was impressive, it was beautiful, it had great beats, and it just got you immersed into the world, into the beat 'em up, rock'em sock'em game that Streets of Rage 4 is, along with its original predecessors. Because if you listen to the game back in those days of the first Resident Evil, wow, of the first Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, it had pretty good music then, and this new version had just as good music. So again, 2 thumbs up for Sega. Let's jump into the combat system. Okay, now basically, Streets of Rage is not a complicated game to pick up. You push a button, you push forward, you push another button, you do all kind of crazy things. And the cool thing is that your special move or your super moves, well actually your special move, allow you to do more damage, but they also take away life. But the cool thing about this new Streets of Rage is that if you do your special move and then follow it up with a combo, you get back the life you lost or energy you lost. But if you're hit, you lose it out. You lose it, so it's kind of like a risk-reward kind of thing, and I liked it. So if you pick Axel or Blaze, they're basically the same as their original game in Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3. So in this version, it's not that much to be desired with their characters because Blaze can't run or roll or do anything fantastic like that. And Axel has a really cool like link combo, which also Blaze can do as well. And Blaze is the character I played in my version. So if you guys want to go check out my version, click the little thing, the little icon will pop up. You can slide it, push it, and guess what? You're watching me play all 12 sections of Streets of Rage 4, which I had a total blast. Then the other thing, guys, about the combat system is that when you play with Cherry and then you play with Adam, who's an unlockable character, and you play with Floyd, they were a little different. Their combat system was very different. You know, Cherry could run. You could do a lot more combos with her. She had like this really cool guitar axe slam. When you play with Adam, he had this really cool dragon attack. And when you play with Floyd, even though he was much slower, he was much stronger. And again, throwing in the superpower element, it made their fighting style like completely different compared to Blaze and Axel. Again, you know, Blaze and Axel are just like nostalgia pieces for people like me who have loved this series since its inception, but also fun characters to kind of get you started in this world of this side scroller. So again, 2 thumbs up. I thought the combat system was pretty cool. I mean, I wish they could done more with it in my personal opinion, because I would have liked to be able to roll like in Streets of Rage 3 and run with Blaze. But what we got, I'm not complaining, because I still thought it was a pretty cool combat system in my honest opinion. But now, let's move on to the next section, DLC. Oh yeah, Streets of Rage is getting some DLC. It's not coming out just yet, and the company who created it, the top team, I'm actually going to do a more detailed discussion on that. I'm going to be doing a gamer discussion video, and Streets of Rage DLC is definitely something I'm going to talk about. But people were wondering when they were doing a Q&A section, kind of like question and answer, what type of DLC are we getting? Are we going to get Shiva as a playable character? Because he technically is a character. Well, you get to play with the classic version of him in the game. As you unlock all the characters, you get to unlock all the classic Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3 Axel and Blade, and you get to unlock Adam, you get to unlock Max, and Dr. Zim, so you get to unlock that, and you get to unlock Shiva, who's actually one of the bosses in the original game and in this game, but you play with the classic version of him. So I'm wondering, do you get the opportunity to play with him later? Do you get the opportunity to use him later? I'm just very curious. I want to know. I hope you know. It's gonna be all good. So I'm super excited about the DLC for Streets of Rage 4. And I hope to see more of it, and they're even talking about bringing out more Streets of Rage games, which is really cool. And in case you guys didn't know, there were a lot of attempts to bring back the series throughout the late 90s and the early 2000s. They were trying to bring back the series so everyone can play it, everyone can try it. But unfortunately, that never happened. It never really came to light. And the only thing that actually came the closest to it is a game called Fight Force that came out on the PlayStation, but that game wasn't, I don't remember ever playing it. I don't ever remember the game, but it was a thing that happened, so there you go. But, and as we wrap this up, I want to know what your thoughts and feelings are. How did you guys feel about Streets of Rage 4? Are you like the critics? Do you give it an 8 out of 5 or a 6 out of 10 or whatever? Did you like it? And also, is this your first time ever playing Streets of Rage? For me, again, I've played this game since the very beginning, but is this new for you? Is this your first time playing it? How do you feel about it? And all that other craziness. But now, as we wrap this up, I'm going to give you my honest opinion and my final grade. So overall, my honest opinion on Streets of Rage 4, I give it an A. Now I know a lot of people say, well, it's a lot of technical things, it leaves a lot to be desired, they could have added more. They could have, but honestly, what we got was actually really good. Again, the story was meh, and the combat system could have been improved, but honestly, it's just a really good, fun game. And the crazy thing is that I also discovered is that this game was designed for 4-player co-op, but due to the current pandemic, no one's really playing together. It's the whole social distance. Everyone stay at home, keep safe, all that good stuff. So that's not really happening, but I have played online a few times. I played battle mode, which was a lot of fun, and I've even played the story mode online with a few other players, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So I would highly recommend that you guys look into this game, that you give it a try for yourself, and that you give your own overall opinion. I mean, it's one thing to hear my opinions and my thoughts and feelings, but what's really important is how you feel about the game. What are your thoughts and feelings? Are you here for it? Are you here or you want none of it? So I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. But that's going to conclude this video, guys. Again, I had so much fun playing this game. It was a lovely reminder of my childhood. I had so much fun playing it. I hope you have fun playing it. And if you guys would like, if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you guys can join me. I'll let you guys know when I'm actually joining online, when I'm playing the story. You guys can join me and we can just have fun together, because that's what I would love to do with you guys. So, if you guys enjoyed any of this content, do me a huge favor. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you guys. And do me another favor, wash your hands, make good choices, be nice to each other. Black Lives Matter. I will see you on the flip side. So, bye. Wink.